Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And, Christmas is almost here. Actually, when you're listening to this video, it's probably going to be Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to those of you who
Merry
celebrate
Christmas.
Christmas.
Well, it's also Hanukkah, so...
And also Hanukkah.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. Can we say that? Are we allowed to say that? We're going to say
I'll say whatever I want to say.
Say whatever we want to say.
They could just get over it.
So we're gonna talk about something that was a big part of our childhoods at Christmas, and that was shopping malls. Remember those? Yeah, so apparently Gen Z wants malls back. I think this is really interesting. It's like, well, you're a little late for that. You're about 10, 15 years too late. Most of them have closed up, including my favorite mall by where I used to live. It was a huge mall, and they just closed a couple of years ago.
Well, they're supposed to be reworking it.
Yeah,
a lot of them have been turned into apartments or turned into other things. You know, a lot of them get turned into casinos.
Casinos,
stuff
schools,
like that.
Car dealerships, big empty,
car dealerships. Yes,
like it's so sad to see this happen. Like kids, and part of it I think is because of Stranger Things and watching all the '80s stuff or whatever. But like kids today do not understand what malls were like. Back in the day, it was basically social media in real life. Because you'd get there, you meet your friends, you talk to your friends, you go out to eat, you would, get everything you wanted. Bookstores and arcades and all that, and movies. It was all there. Now kids are doing so much of that stuff online, but they want to experience the things that we got to experience. But I think we really took for granted. I don't think anybody thought the world was going to pivot to digital.
Yeah, I didn't think malls were going to get gone. Like
people still have to buy stuff. It's like, well, now we have Amazon. It's just Amazon, Walmart, and that's pretty much it, right?
I mean, and there are, now to be fair, there are places that there are malls that are still going strong in certain areas. I know in certain states and certain places. Our daughter's one friend lives in their state, and they have a lot of malls where they are. I know Ross Park in Pittsburgh is still doing pretty well.
Ross Park's doing pretty good, yeah.
So I mean, at least it was full. I mean, if that's a gauge for how it's doing.
I haven't been there in like a year. I'm like, is this still full?
Then you go out to Pittsburgh Mills, and it's like, oh boy, it has colleges and nursing schools and stuff in there now.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Mills is a tragedy.
Monroeville, we had the whole thing yesterday, was apparently a gun scare, but it turned out it wasn't a shooting. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you still have them in pockets and places, but it's not like it was where it was a cultural cornerstone of communities and interaction and shopping and lifestyle.
So let's talk about this a little bit more, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants if you haven't done so already. Speaking of shopping, go out to clownfishminus.com. We have merch out there you can buy. And
sorry, we're not in a mall.
We're not in a mall. You'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo for the holidays. Woohoo.
So what kind of woohoo do you do for the holidays? Like you have to sound like Mariah.
Woohoo. I don't know.
There you go. You have to. You're Mariah Carey. Woo. All right. This is interesting. So this is that was fun.
Did you see the Fortnite thing where Mariah Carey was in it?
Oh yeah, the kids were.
That was funny. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen that, go look it up. There was a big ice piece and it kept melting, and then it just broke out into rays of light. And when it finally exploded, Mariah Carey started singing the "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
So we have to explain to our kids, like, not just malls, but we have to explain to them that Mariah Carey had more than one song.
Yes,
like you don't understand. Mariah Carey was a huge deal. And then she's just known for the Christmas song. It's so freaking weird. Anyway, yeah, we used to listen to Mariah Carey in the malls. Yes. Imagine that.
You used to go around the malls when you were younger, and all the friends would go together, and then you cruise the mall.
We cruise them, yeah, and you'd make laps around the mall, and then it'd be like one friend would be like, "Hey, I want to talk to that girl, so let's like go around, like pretend like we're shopping at Claire's."
Yeah.
Because all the guys would shop at Claire's. Actually, back then we would, because we get one ear pierced, which I almost did but did not do, thank God.
Well, then Spencer's was there then. It's still around. And
it's
then
all porn now.
Yeah, but I mean, the back was always like, you always go in the back of Spencer's. There was another one that was like Spencer's. It wasn't a Hot Topic, that was something else. I forget what it was. And
Dicks R Us.
What was it?
Dicks R Us.
No, it wasn't Dicks R Us. But they had a back.
Sporting Goods.
No.
Okay.
But they had a back corner. You were supposed to go back there.
The dirty corner. It was like it smelled like it smelled like candles and
Oh yeah,
incense.
candles. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incense. Wink. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, can Gen Z? So this came from what? CNBC. That's interesting.
No, it's not surprising me because I know our kids and many times have said about they wish they could have seen malls like they were. And it's funny to me because I think about I wish I could have seen ancient Egypt like it was, and my kids were like, I wish I could have seen malls. And I'm just like, wow. So I'm not surprised with this because they're Gen Z, and it is definitely something I've seen. There are people that are on Instagram or TikTok and they're influencers, and they dress up like the 80s and 90s and go to malls and do photo shoots.
Yeah, well, they're talking about that. They said actually because TikTok and Instagram are really big for pushing merchandise to the youths, and they check it out online, but they actually want to go see it in person because Amazon's kind of like, you get it, it comes in the mail, you're hoping it's what you ordered.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not 100% sure.
You can't try it on. You can't,
Yeah. So this is coming from, the originals come from CNBC, and we'll go out to this guy's article here. But key points from CNBC. Gen Z consumers, despite growing up as digital natives, shop in stores about as much as their baby boomer grandparents did, according to a survey by the ICSC, a mall industry group. So you got take it for whatever it's worth. Up-and-coming spenders in this generation are seeking social connections, instant gratification, and moments to post on social media, according to interviews with shoppers and experts. Mall owners and retailers are trying to cater to teens and 20-somethings with unique store features such as selfie mirrors or videos and experiences such as pop-up concerts.
Okay, this is not new. When we were kids, they used to do things like that in the malls. They have celebrities come to the malls. Tiffany, they did the mall tour. Debbie Gibson did the mall tour. They had soap opera stars come to the malls.
Did.
Kit was at the mall. I got a picture of me in it. I don't have it with me, or I'd put it in the video. I have a picture of me sitting in Kit at the mall. I was very excited. I was all smiles because I was like, "Hot damn, I'm in Kit." So that's what they used to do to get us youths to the mall back in the day.
So this is interesting. Yeah, they said instead of hitting the buy button online, this 23-year-old Marble, New Jersey native, Lindsay Hams, she said she often heads to the mall. Well, you're lucky you still have malls there, Lindsay. It's actually more convenient for me to just go to the store and try it on.
Yes.
Yeah, if it doesn't fit, I can return it right then and there, instead of having to go to UPS, send it back, waiting another 5
Or you could try it on before you buy it and then don't buy it if it doesn't fit. Or buy the right size. That's what that's for.
That's why they have dressing rooms, remember?
I don't know why you're buying it and returning it after if it doesn't fit. You try it on before you purchase it.
So
Silly Gen Z.
She works in social media marketing. It illustrates one of the traits of Gen Z that may be surprising. The tech-savvy teens and 20-somethings of this generation shop in stores more than millennials and Gen X, and about as much as their baby boomer grandparents. That is interesting because I don't recall seeing a whole lot of Gen Z other than at the Apple store.
Mm-hmm. Even then, it really wasn't.
Kind of like, Gen Z plans to shop more in stores and online this holiday season. 63% of Gen Z respondents said they plan to make holiday purchases at physical stores.
Good.
That's really interesting.
See, because I would love to see malls come back. Like, personally, I would. I would love to see malls return to what they were. I liked going to the mall. I would love to see, physical locations come back, more jobs for people. And I just think that the mall was such a important pop culture place that I would love to see it come back for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah. They're talking about some of the stores have disappeared. Mm-hmm. Macy's and JCPenney are shrinking. They used to be the staples.
Sears is gone.
Sears was the anchor of every mall in America. I swear to God.
Sears and Penny's were everywhere, and they're Penny's is there hanging on barely.
I keep forgetting that they even exist. But they said, as the stores close, retailers are moving to appeal to younger shoppers. Australian-based online-only apparel retailer Princess Polly has opened its very first stores in the U.S. shopping centers. Squishables actually had a store in, I don't know if it's...
They have stores here and there. They do.
Yeah, Ross Park. And I thought that was kind of cool. Actually, if you were smart, you would, if you were an online retailer, pick a couple of locations and be like, we're gonna open a physical store. You can come in and you can try the stuff on. You can see what it's actually like. Talk
about Bath and Body Works, which is a staple at every mall. And I love Bath and Body Works. I buy stuff in there all the time. The cool thing about Bath and Body Works is that you can buy online and pick up in the store. So you're still supporting your store if you really want to shop online.
Yeah, so they had a marketing campaign called "Meet Me at the Mall." That's what we used to do.
Yes,
you don't understand. This is
was it Gen X who put the campaign together?
I don't know. They said, yeah, this is a Simon Property Group that owns a whole bunch of malls. They said the ads are running on websites and apps, including YouTube, TikTok, and Netflix. Tap into 80s nostalgia with young adults dancing and roller skating at the mall.
Ironically, there is a mall in Indiana, PA that has a roller skating rink in it.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I think you're getting a very distorted view of what the malls actually had, because a lot of the stores don't exist. Like, we would watch like old TV shows or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, that store is not. I forgot all about that store. That store is not here.
Yeah, like Walden Books is gone.
Walden Books. That's where I used to buy almost all my D&D stuff back in the day. My comic books.
I used to buy Star Wars books because I was a dork. Of
course you did.
I did. I bought my Star Wars books there, and as soon as there was a new one, I almost got a job there too, just so I could get discount Star Wars books. What else is gone? There's so many things that are gone now. Like Sears is gone. Walden Books is gone. Is Orange Julius any around anymore?
I think they merged with Dairy Queen or something. Like, it used to be its own thing, and they had the little devil dude. I was trying to explain this to Squid King. I was just talking to him the other day about the retail apocalypse in 2008. I'm like, because he was talking about all these stores, the restaurant chains and stuff going out of business and how sad it is. I'm like, dude, there was a time in 2008, 2009 where every week, like, brands that had been around for decades were just snapped away. Like, almost, it was like, boom, down goes.
Well, now Big Lots is going down.
That's how it got started. Yeah, we're talking about Big Lots. Big Lots is going down. They think Rite Aid is going to be another one that's going to go down, and they're blaming Amazon for that. But it's not cool to go to Rite Aid, right? Like, you can't go Instagram. Well, I guess you could go Instagram Rite Aid. But, like, even our Rite Aid around here in the Pittsburgh area, like, they're complaining that nobody's getting any inventory, and you go in and it looks like they're out of business or going out of business.
You know what's interesting to me is, though, I think we're going to see return to some of these places, because there was talk that Walden Books might come back. There's, Toys R Us is trying to come back.
That was some shit, though.
I agree, 100%.
So my cousin worked for Toys R Us, and it was really crap how they let them go. But what happened was, it was this investment group came in, venture capital group came in, and they bought Toys R Us. And then they basically wanted to get out of the leases or whatever, and they just shut them all down. It was really stupid. A lot of people were like, "Well, it was just Star Wars." I'm like, "No, it was greed. It was."
It was. And then they just basically used it to get rid of people, and then tried to come back. And
now they're gonna try to come back smaller.
But they were talking about they were bringing that back. What was the other one I saw? They were talking about bringing it back. Hills. They're talking about Hills possibly. There was comments made that they might try to make a return in some way.
I keep trying to explain Hills. Yeah, so Hills, the brand is out there. Somebody bought the brand, and they've got a Hills food truck. Hills was like
that's in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Ohio staple. It was a department, for those of you who don't know.
It's where the toys are.
It was where the toys are.
Where does Dolly Parton shop? Hills.
Hills is where.
You remember that? Everybody, that was the second grade joke everybody kept telling.
Oh my god, they had a massive toy department. The Hills, like Hills toy department, like Walmart is pathetic.
Hills is where the toys are.
The only thing that's, I don't even think Target's close to what Hills had. Target's
Hills was hot damn Hills. When you were a kid, that was like the holy grail.
That was it.
You got to go. Well, Toys R Us too, but I mean, like Hills was
we didn't have a Toys R Us until later.
I never got one. I just had to go to Pittsburgh. When my dad worked, when we were back the day, Dad worked in Pittsburgh, so we were down in Pittsburgh all the time.
Yeah, we didn't get a Toys R Us until I was like almost a teenager. I think we got one, but like Hills is where we always went, and they always had these big ass end caps. I still remember the He-Man displays, the Star Wars displays. They were literally like you see
walls.
Like, you see
Barbie was Barbie.
These pictures of like what toy aisles used to look like. And granted, we did not have as much competition back then. There weren't as many toy lines, but like they would have literally a G.I. Joe aisle. And it was floor to ceiling boxes of G.I. Joe vehicles.
Okay, like for example, if you go to like one of the aisles at Walmart and it's like a whole bunch of different toys shoved together, like Transformers, G.I. Joe, whatever, the entire row would be Transformers. The entire row would be Star Wars. The entire row would be G.I. Joe. Barbie, the entire row was just Barbie.
Just Barbie.
Barbie clothes, like half that row was Barbie clothes.
And they would have it marked. You'd see a little sign. It would be like, oh, this is the Barbie aisle. Oh, this is the Star Wars aisle. This is the whatever. And then like the lesser brands would get like maybe a half an hour,
they'd share,
an end cap or something. But like Barbie was the brand. Hot Wheels was the brand. Transformers was big. Whatever the big toy was, like, floor to ceiling. And I remember the G.I. Joe displays, probably the best of it, because they had so many vehicles and they were like huge boxes.
And Hills would do the end caps where they'd have the things encased, and like kind of like what you see at Target and have some of the Lego sets.
Yeah.
And you could push the button and see what they do, or they could see like they would have things set up so you could see them.
Teddy Ruxpin, I remember.
Yeah, I remember Teddy Ruxpin that's where I saw it first was Hills.
Little bastard.
But But anyway, back to this. It's just like, so this is the stuff that we grew up with, and this is the stuff that Gen Z really wishes they could see. And I took our kids to a Boscov's, because in Altoona actually, because it's 2 floors, and I wanted to show them, what we go to, like, to the Ross Park and stuff, but they didn't really pay attention. We went there, and I showed them this is what kind of the old malls, because they actually have the wrapping paper department and everything still left in it.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Like they still have the wrapping paper, and it looks just like the old style mall. And I took them there just to show them, and because they wanted to see what it was like. And the wrapping paper by the bathroom, showed them that. This is a staple.
Yeah, it was great because back then you could actually comparison shop. It wasn't just like, what's the difference between Walmart and Amazon's price? It was like, no, there's like 5 or 10 different stores you can go to comparison shop and see what they have, and they all had different stuff. And now,
but it was a lot harder because you actually had to get up off your butt and do it.
You had to get up, but
you couldn't just do it online.
It was a great incentive for kids to get their licenses, because usually the first place you go, you get your license. Like, yeah, let's go to the mall.
Yeah,
let's go to the mall. That's
now for me, where I lived, we were half an hour from any mall, or depending, 40 minutes the other one way and 30 minutes the other. So we had to go ways.
5 minutes.
I know you were.
And I lived at that mall.
He was by the Mentorsville Mall.
Yeah.
Well, Muncie, I guess it technically would have been, but yeah.
R.I.P.
Lycoming Valley. Was that what it's called? Lycoming Mall?
Lycoming Mall, yeah. And it died. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. But so they're saying, these kids want to connect, and they want things to be like they were in Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Mallrats, we had I had a lot of malls, because I lived in Pennsylvania, but I also lived in California, so it was like I had a great mall next to where I lived in PA, and then when we moved to California, we had a mall out there, and like almost all my jobs pre-20, they were mall jobs.
Well, it's interesting too, like they're saying here 97% of Gen Z respondents said they want to do brick and mortar stores, and had they been people have been shopping in brick and mortar stores 10 years ago, we'd still have malls.
Yeah,
because up until last 10-15 years, we had the malls.
It's weird what happened. 2008 definitely killed off a lot of malls. It was awful. And then I think people became fascinated with the convenience of ordering everything from Amazon. And it was like, oh yeah, well, I don't have to go anywhere because it's a pain in the ass. I can get it from Amazon. And so then, Walmart's got everything. I don't have to visit the local whatever mom and pop shop because I just go to Walmart. It became a convenience thing, but we lost so much.
We had the Wall. We had like different independent comic stores were in the malls. I mean, still are. Like, Pittsburgh Mills has.
Pittsburgh Mills has New Dimension Comics, yeah.
But, it's like we saw a big opportunity with this campaign to really tap into the fact that the mall is a touchstone of American cultural experience, has been for generations. Well, I'd argue the last 15 years, not so much. This is a person that's in charge of this modern retail. People today, just like they did back in the day, use the mall to shop for special occasion, to head to the mall with friends after school. They might have their first job at the mall. If you could find a mall that's still around, the bottom line is it's as relevant today as it was for moms back in the day, except it's not. That's why a lot of the malls are shut down.
Yeah. So in bigger areas, but we used to have, especially PA and Ohio, like there's so many burnout malls. I mean, I think about in Pennsylvania, especially like the eastern side of the state, like there's so many malls that just don't exist anymore. And that was where we went. That was what we did.
Well, I'm thinking about malls by where I grew up and stuff, and they're still there, but like more than half of it is empty. I think I counted once with my kids, and we went through, and it was, I think over half the stores were empty.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so if you're going to bring back malls and stores want to come back, you might want to do it sooner rather than later before these other places that you might have a shot at going to die.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because we're losing retailers quickly. And I would like to, like I said, I would like to see online retailers pivot to having, a physical brick and mortar presence.
You go to the Disney store. Can't do that now.
Yeah. We used to have Warner Brothers store. We had Disney store. We had Suncoast Video. Of course, we don't buy physical video anymore, but...
Lazarus, remember Lazarus? There was a show that was store Lazarus. It was like Macy's Lazarus.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we had in the Lycoming Mall, they had at one point, there were like 4 jewelry stores, each one on the corner when you go into the center court. And they were competing. They had like K Jewelers, and they had, I forget what the other ones were.
I remember they had the McDonald's and they had the Carousel at the mall for years.
Yeah, it was great.
Ours had the water fountains and the big glass ceilings and the waterfalls and stuff like that. When I was a kid, they actually used to run the waterfall. And then when we moved back years later,
the waterfalls weren't running anymore, but they used to have the waterfall.
They have like the wishing. You put coins in
Yeah.
them. You toss the coins in. Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, and it's just like, so, what can they do, to catch their imagination? Well, whatever you're going to do, you're going to need to do it quickly. But here's what they're saying. These are the trends that retailers should be aware of, when it comes to Gen Z to appeal to them. They're socially conscious. Brands that support mental health awareness, environmental conservation, sustainability, and racial and gender equity perform favorably.
On.
Sure. Younger Americans prioritize convenience, speed, and efficiency. 46% of the study's respondents rating quick and easy checkout as the most influential factor when shopping. So creating a seamless shopping experience from walk-in to checkout is key. Reputation is vital to retailer survival when it comes to Gen Z. Trusted and authentic reviews on websites. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to Gen Z, if it's being shilled on TikTok, they're most likely going to buy that crap.
Yeah.
Third-party review sites, blogs, and forums can instill confidence. But again, no matter what you do, if you're going to bring it back, you better do it fast, because more and more malls are shutting down daily because they don't have tenants.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep them all, you're going to have to, some of these other places are going to have to do what they can, because they're shutting them down. That's why they're doing these Hail Mary, let's get the Gen Zers in here.
Well, they have to drop the rents at the malls too, because a lot of these, now this is my understanding, talking to a friend of mine, is what happened with the mall we were talking about near Williamsport, is that the guy came in and he was a known sleazebag, and he bought it with the intention of basically running it into the ground as a tax shelter or as some kind of tax incentive. So he didn't make any effort. And so what they would do, and we see this a lot in smaller towns, especially, like you'll have strip malls or something like that, and the rents will be so astronomical that it makes more sense for them to just outprice the locals and be like, oh, we couldn't rent it, I guess we're going to take a tax break for that. It's empty, so we're losing money. So, and they do that. Like they're comping, they'll comp in rural areas if you've got the same strip mall owned by the same people, they'll comp it with like a bigger urban area and be like, oh yeah, we're charging $5,000 a month rent. And geez, golly gee willikers, we can't get it. I don't understand. And it's been empty for 10 years. So
the other place is like in a high traffic area, the one that they're trying to upcharge, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a blight on the neighborhood too. Like I think there needs to be something, be like, look, you need to make every effort possible to rent these spaces out, if that means dropping your price or whatever it is. You can't just have an empty mall sitting here, because it's a huge eyesore. But hopefully they come back in some capacity.
I would like to see them come back, but I also think it's kind of neat that some of the malls that have been shut down have been turned into things like communities, or like they've turned it into apartments, and they're being used for different things. I know a lot of colleges or schools have gone into old malls, empty mall spaces, and have put classrooms in there and stuff. And that's kind of neat. There's lots of parking. But I would like to see them come back. I don't know if it can, though, but we'll see.
We will see. So we're going to wrap this one up, guys. Yep. Again, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Talk to you later.
Bye.